What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are just going to do a quick video on exploring the AWS Management Console. So on a previous video in my Free Game Friday series, I covered 3 ways to interact with AWS. They were 1, using the Management Console. 2 was using the AWS CLI or command line interface, and the 3rd way was by using the AWS SDK or software development kit. So today we're just going to focus on what's available to you in the management console. So as you can see, I'm already logged in here, and pretty much everything is divided up by services. So that's under, basically, you can see all services in their alphabetical order. So if I want to look at API Gateway, or if I want to come down here and look at EC2, which is another popular service that a lot of people use AWS for, or S3, they're just all here in alphabetical order. So I can view them that way, or I can actually just come into the search bar here and just type in the prefix of whatever I'm looking for here. So S3, I can see my buckets. It just shows you all my buckets that are under my S3. The other thing here is it'll show you your most recently visited services. And you can also come in here, and if there's a service that you use a lot, you can just come in and add it to your favorites. So in order to do that, to add a service to your favorites, you just come down here and hover over the service and just check the star next to it. So I just selected Lambda, and if I go back to favorites, it now shows up. So here you see here I have this is a pretty important section. Actually had to use this on last week. I had a issue with a production environment at work, and it was actually an AWS outage in a particular region, and that indicator was here under the AWS Health tab. So it pretty much said, hey, if you have any services running in this region, you could be affected by this outage, and I was definitely affected by the outage. So that's probably one of the other key things to look at when you come in here is there anything that's currently being affected from an outage, anything that's scheduled to be out in the coming future, things of that nature. Also, another important piece here is cost. So everyone knows that working in the cloud comes with a cost associated with it. So the whole pay-as-you-go model definitely comes into effect here, and this just helps you keep an eye on what you're spending for the given month. So you can see here, my monthly cost was about $7.22, and for this month it was only scheduled to be, it's only forecasted to be $3.75. So pretty much half of what I spent last month. And the only reason I spent this much last month was because I had an EC2 instance that was running, that was actually free tier eligible, but I failed to stop the instance from running. So I think with the free tiers, like 750 hours a month or something along those lines. But needless to say, I left it running longer than it should have been, and I got billed for it. So not a big deal. But you can go into cost management here and see kind of what your cost breakdown is. I think that's pretty much it. You'll see up top here. Up top here, you got some quick things you can access. So Cloud Shell. So this is pretty much a version of the CLI in the cloud. And then you have, what is this guy? Any notifications that you may have. Come in and set my browser settings. And then this is pretty much my account detail. So I can go in and get my account number, see credentials, everything like that. So while we're here, one service you would probably be interested in is if you're bringing on, say, a new user or a new developer to your project. IAM is probably going to be the first thing you want to come in and set up for that person. So typically you'll want to give whoever's going to be using the platform their own set of credentials. So in order to do that, you can just come in here and create a new user, give them a username, and this is where you can decide if they need access to the management console. Some people may not need access to it, but if I do want to create a new user, I just come in here. I want to create a new IAM user, auto-generated password, hit next, and then this is where I can just add them to a group. AWS admin. Yep, create user, and so that pretty much gives me my logon, username, and password. Yes. Okay. And if I come back here, I'll see I now have 2 users instead of just the 1 user. Since I don't need this user, I'm just going to delete them. And that's how that works. So nothing fancy there. Trying to think. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to show you guys today. So you'll notice here. Oh, this is another thing. So you'll notice here that glad I looked at this before I close out. So if let's do this real quick. So if I come back in here, and you'll notice across the top, so some services in AWS are global and some services are regional. So for instance, IAM is a global service, S3 is a global service, but if I come to EC2, you'll see this now switches to my whatever region I want to use. So US East 1, US East 2, US West 1, US West 2. So that's one other thing to notice, that the console will just kind of tell you right off the top is, hey, this is actually a global service that you're using versus a regional service. So that being said, you may run into issues, or not issues, but you'll run into where a naming convention that you wanted to name, say your S3 bucket, may not be available because it's global and anyone can name a folder or a bucket the same thing that you wanted to name it. So just something to consider. As you get in here and you start looking at working with different services, you need to make sure you're putting them in the region you think you're putting them in, and whatever deployments that you're going to be using also are targeted towards that region also. So I think that's it for today. So like I said, I just wanted to do a quick video to show you basically exploring the AWS Management Console, and this video was kind of birthed from doing the last video, my Free Game Friday series, which was 3 ways to interact with AWS, and those were by using the Management Console, by using the AWS CLI, as well as by using the AWS SDK. So my goal now is to work on a couple of videos targeting the CLI and the SDK specifically, and we'll be in touch. So hope you found this video informative. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.